Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you today?
Hi, good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon.
Fine, thanks.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, nice to see you guys. We're gonna start with the class of today. So I'm going to ask you to please go to the three stories about natural disasters. So let's go please to 3-1.
313.
Three stories about natural disaster. Same reading. Okay, I'll share with you. Well, before we go to the reading, it says, discuss the following questions in group. What happens during a tsunami? What about an earthquake and a hurricane? Okay, I hear you. Tell me, guys, do you know what happens during a tsunami?
A lot of water.
A lot of water, okay. It could be everywhere, or where do tsunamis happen?
I remember one tsunami maybe 10 years ago in Asia.
Asia, okay.
In Asia.
But I mean, do they happen everywhere? Like, could we have a tsunami like here in Hermosillo or in Obregón or in Santana?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because it's in the beach.
Exactly, it's
In
related
the
to the
beach.
sea, right? To the sea. What about an earthquake? What is an earthquake? What happens when we have an earthquake?
When the earth
When the
The
it's
earth,
moving.
is
when
moved,
the earth moves, okay, it's good. And what about a hurricane?
we have a very hard winds and a
Okay,
lot
Storm, rain.
of
The rains.
exactly. Heavy rain, strong wind, very good. Okay, let's go to the second question. It says, what kinds of damage can earthquakes cause? Think about the history of earthquakes. What is the damage that earthquakes cause?
It can destroy building.
Destroy
Destroy
buildings.
building.
What else, Guillermo?
Not destroy building, house, and edifice.
Okay.
And
And what about the streets? No?
Can destroy can destroy bridges too.
Okay, bridges. Very good.
Bridges.
Next one. Have you ever heard of a city named New Orleans? If so, where is it? And what do you know about this city? So if you have heard of it, New Orleans, what have you heard of it?
Yes, I have.
No.
New Orleans is a city that had a hurricane, very common.
Very common to have hurricanes, okay. Where is it, Jose? In what country is New Orleans?
One country, New Orleans, is in USA.
In the USA, okay. Next one, have you ever experienced or seen a flood? Why do floods happen? Okay, so this one is kind of common. It's when we have so much rain that it flows, right? Like in the houses, we have so much water, in the buildings, etc. Have you ever experienced or seen a flood?
Yes.
Yes?
I am.
Okay. Why do they happen, Alondra? Why do you think they happen?
For example, like here, when the stream flood, the water inundate houses, and the cars don't have pace.
Okay. So what do they happen? Because there's no space, or why? Or why has it happened? In your case, Alondra, tell us, why do you think that these floods happened in like in your town?
Because here are so many streams
Mhm.
the pace for the country. And when rain, they're se inundan, ¿cómo se dice?
Flood. That is a flood.
Ajá,
When
they
they
flood
flood.
and ajá,
Okay. So let's go and read then. It says part 2 reading. I'm going to share with you the exercise so you can open it and we can start with the reading part. So here it says, you are going to read about 3 famous natural disasters below. For each story, write a title. The titles should include the kind of natural disaster, the city or country, and the year. So we're gonna give a title to each of the stories we read about. Okay, we're gonna read, I have 3 students today, so each one of you is going to read one. So Guillermo, can you read the first story, please?
Okay. I want to describe my experience to you about the disaster that hit my country in 2004. It was a beautiful day and my parents were at work, but my sister and I were cleaning up our home with my aunt, who was taking care of us. The night before, we felt a terrible large earthquake that damaged much of our house. We couldn't sleep and spent most of the night frightened. At around 9 a.m. in the morning, we were arranging the furniture on our balcony when my sister started to notice strange waves in the ocean. Our balcony has a beautiful view of the ocean, and we always watch the waves in the evening after dinner. Suddenly, a hook web appeared so of our homes. It was coming straight in our direction. We ran out of the house and looked for headland. The large web hit the beach and our home, and it immediately destroyed our house. Luckily, we had climbed up to our neighborhood roof and we were safe. We later found out that the tsunami had killed nearly mm, two,
230,000.
230,000
Uh-huh. 230,000.
people, 230,000 people in over 14 countries, including Indonesia.
Okay, perfect. Each one of you is going to give a title to each one of them. First, we're just gonna read them and yeah, we'll read them together. What is a natural disaster described in this reading?
Tsunami.
A tsunami, very good. Okay, now let's go and read the second one. Jose, can you help me, please?
Yeah. In 1989, I was watching baseball in my apartment. I was watching the World Series, which is a yearly event with the years, let me see, with the years two best teams. The game was in San Francisco and their team was playing Oakland, which is actually only 30 minutes from San Francisco. At around 5 p.m., the picture on the TV started to shake. and the baseball players looks frightened. The announcer on TV said that an earthquake was shaking the ground, and suddenly the picture went dead. dead. Later, while I was watching the evening news, I found out that most of Northern California had experienced a large earthquake. Many people had died in San Francisco which was near the center of the quake. A popular bridge has been destroyed, as well as many homes and other buildings. About 3 or 4 days later, they finished playing the game, but nobody was really thinking about baseball in San Francisco anymore.
Okay, so, well, this is very obvious because we have the name of the disaster here. So this was an
Earthquake.
earthquake. Very good. So now let's go to the title 3. Alondra, please. Help me to read it.
In my home city of New Orleans, most of my city was underwater on a summer day in 2005. It was a terrible experience. It happened because of a large hurricane that had hit the area 2 days before. The hurricane was named Katrina and had destroyed many parts of Florida and Louisiana when it hit my city. The reason for the flooding was that New Orleans is actually below sea level. Our city is very close to the coast and we have walls that usually stop large waves. Unfortunately, the waves caused by Katrina broke most of these walls and much of the water entered our city. I later heard that 80% of New Orleans have been underwater for 2 weeks. Many people died and food and water were hard to find. Many homes were destroyed and had to be rebuilt. Even now, in 2015, you can still see a lot of the damage caused by the flood.
Okay, so here we have 2 in 1, 2 disasters. One is the hurricane and the other one is the flood. And the flood is caused by the hurricane, right? Okay, so we have read the 3 of them. I will give you time for you to reread them in case that you need to, and give a title to each one of the readings or articles we read about, okay? And then it says in here, complete the sentences in either past simple, past continuous, or past perfect. So we are going to reading here and we are going to, like, according to the reading, complete them. We can use the past simple, the past continuous, or the past perfect, depending on what we are answering, okay? So we have these questions, well, not questions, these sentences we need to complete. I repeat, with past simple, past continuous, or past perfect, using the information from the 3 readings, okay? So it's answering this exercise of reading and also giving a title to each one of the stories. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. So basically you will complete them with the information from the reading. Okay, let me know when you are ready, please. I'll be here. Did you finish?
No, teacher.
Okay, remember to tell me, please.
Listo, maestra.
Thank you. Guillermo Jose, did you finish?
Yes, I am too.
Okay, very
No,
good.
no.
Okay, we can be discussing the titles while you finish. So let's talk about the first one. Tell me, Jose, what is the title you gave for the first story?
The first story. Mhm. Story number 1. Let me see. Mhm. Mhm. The haircut. A terrible haircut in my city.
A terrible, but the first one wasn't a earthquake. Oh, yes, it was, but it was, okay. A terrible, yes, it was, I read. A terrible earthquake hit my city. Alondra, what is the title you gave to this one?
I put the terrible tsunami of Indonesia.
A terrible tsunami of what?
Of Indonesia.
Indonesia, very good. And Guillermo, what is the title you gave to this one?
2005 hurricane in New Orleans.
Again. A terrible what? Or what did you say?
Hurricane in New Orleans and New Orleans.
But it's the first story. The first one didn't happen in New Orleans.
Is that the first?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. The 2004 tsunami in Indonesia.
2004 tsunami in Indonesia. Okay. Very good. Let's go to the second story. Alondra, what is the title you gave to this one?
Earthquake in San Francisco.
Earthquake in San Francisco. Okay. Jose,
The big earthquake in San Francisco.
the big earthquake.
Mhm.
The big earthquake. And Guillermo,
The earthquake in San Francisco.
okay. And let's go to the story number 3. Jose, what is the title you gave to the story number 3?
Uh-huh. And the dangerous hurricane in my city.
Dangerous hurricane in my city. Okay. Alondra, what is the title you gave to this one?
The devastating Hurricane Katrina.
The devastating hurricane in my city.
Hurricane Katrina.
Okay, sorry. And Guillermo, what do you have for number 3?
Hurricane in New Orleans.
Hurricane in your life. Okay. Very good. Okay, now let's go to the part of the activity, I mean of the sentences. Jose, what do you have in the first one? The family couldn't sleep because
Because they had a tsunami.
they had a tsunami. Okay. Okay. Letter B, Alondra, what do you have? It says they did not die in the water because
They had climbed up to their neighbor's roof.
they had climbed up to their neighbor's house. Very good. To their neighbor's house. Guillermo, do you have letter C? When the disaster happened? Because their parents were at work.
It was a beautiful day.
Can you repeat?
It was a beautiful day.
It says when that disaster happened, and then because their parents were at work. So how do you connect these two events? Do you guys have a different answer here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one.
Okay, Jose?
Can I say? Mhm.
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
When the disaster happened, they was worried because their parents were at work. They were
Worried. When the disaster happened, they were worried because their parents were at work. Okay, Alondra, what do you have in this one?
They were cleaning up their home with their aunt.
They were cleaning up the what?
Their home.
Okay. So it depends on what you get from the reading to answer this. Okay, so Guillermo, do you have letter D? Guillermo, do you have it? Letter D?
Yes.
Okay, the writer of the second story when the earthquake happened.
The writer of the second story was watching baseball when the earthquake occurred.
Very good. Was watching baseball. And letter E, Alondra, the writer found out many people had died in the earthquake.
Because they was near the center of the earthquake.
Because it was near the center of the earthquake. Very good. Jose, letter F, 3 or 4 days after the earthquake happened.
3 or 4 days after. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thanks. 3 or 4 days after the earthquake happened, they finished playing the game.
Okay, very good. They finished playing the game. Guillermo, letter G. In the summer of 2005, most of New Orleans was flooded because
By a hurricane.
of a hurricane. But I need you to use a verb. Necesito que uses un verb. Because a hurricane what?
I don't know.
Could be because a hurricane hit the city. Golpeó la ciudad, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Letter H. Alondra, before the hurricane hit New Orleans,
It had destroyed many parts of Florida and Louisiana.
again, it had what?
Destroyed
It had destroyed.
parts of Florida and Louisiana.
Very good. It had destroyed its pass.
Many parts
Okay,
of
okay.
Florida and Louisiana.
That's in Florida. Very good. Jose, the last one. Because they had broken the walls that usually stop the ocean's waves.
Many people die. Or no, many people die because they had broken the walls.
Okay, very good. So as you could see, most of the information, even with the verbs, you could get them from the reading. But it's important to notice something. For example, in this case, we're here, the writer of the second story was watching baseball when the earthquake happened, because we're saying what other event was happening at the same time. In here, for example, that we're using the past tense, it means that both of the actions were concluded and are separated. And here, when we use, for example, the past perfect, we're saying because before the hurricane hit, so now we're talking about what happened before the hurricane hit, and hit is my main verb. I'm going to use then the past perfect, had destroyed in many parts of Florida and Louisiana. Okay, questions about this topic?
No, no.
No? Okay. Now let's go please to the hero's story, 3-2. This is listening. Okay, so it says in here, discuss the following questions with the group. What do you know about the earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan in 2011? Do you guys remember about these news about Japan in 2011?
Japan, 2000. I don't remember.
You don't?
I think it was the bigger, I don't remember how to say it.
Tsunami?
Scala,
Oh, okay, scale.
scale Richter, I think.
Richter scale. Okay. Okay. Guillermo, do you remember something of it?
No, I
No?
don't remember.
I remember Katrina. Obviously, this one happened after Katrina, but I don't exactly remember this one of Japan. Okay. Tell me, guys, how are tsunamis created?
Tsunami created?
Mhm.
I think
For the earthquake, maybe
Okay. With an earthquake?
the
Under
over ocean.
the ocean.
under the ocean.
Okay. Can tsunamis be stopped? I mean, can we stop a tsunami?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. Why does Japan get so many earthquakes every year?
Because it is an island.
Because it's an island? Okay, could be. Now let's go and listen. And it says in here, open the exercise 1 to begin and follow the instructions in the document. Then let's go to the exercise 2. Okay, I have shared with you the first part. And it says, you are going to listen. Okay, these are images, very strong images, scary. Okay, it says, you're going to listen to a story about a former Canadian College of English Languages student, Hiromaru Sasaki's experience with Japan's great earthquake and tsunami of 2011. As you listen, answer the following questions. We have in here some question. It says, what did the earthquake measure on the Richter scale? Letter B. Where was Hiromaru when he heard the tsunami alarm? Why didn't he worry about the alarm? Where was Hiro when he saw the helicopter? In addition to the objects hitting him in the water, why was it difficult for Hiro to swim in the ocean? Where did his wife Nobuko find him? How many people died in Japan's great earthquake of tsunami of 2011? These are the questions, and the listening part is 3 minutes 53. I will give you these minutes for you to listen carefully to it. Pause it if you want to, like repeat parts if you need to, in order for you to understand and answer the first part of the questions, okay? Once you finish this exercise, we are going to discuss what Hiro said, and we are going to share your answers, okay? Please take some minutes for you to listen carefully, individually, and answer the questions that follow. Tell me when you are ready.
Okay, thanks.
Did you finish?
No, teacher, not yet.
Thank you. Let me know when you finish, please.
I think finished.
Thank you, Alondra. Jose and Guillermo, did you?
I have finished.
Okay. Jose?
Me too.
Very good. Okay. Let's go to the activity, and it says in here, what did the earthquake measure on the Richter scale? Who can tell me this answer?
Mhm.
9.
9, very good.
9.5, sure.
Sorry, yes, 9. 9 on the Richter scale. Okay, where was Hiromaru when he heard the tsunami alarm?
He was fishing.
Fishing shop.
He was fishing.
Fishing shop.
Fishing shop.
Okay. In a fishing shop.
In a fishing shop. He was
Why didn't he worry about the alarm?
a fishing shop. shop. Wait me, teacher.
Okay.
Because they were 3-meter webs.
Mhm. Because there were 3 meters waves. Mm,
No. I think it's because the alarm was off 2 days ago. Or no? 2 days earlier.
mm,
Because the alarm went off 2 days earlier.
Okay, what do you have, Alondra, in this one?
I put the alarm went off too.
Okay, let's go in here, a part where we hear something related to that, okay? We have to catch the information about why didn't he worry about it.
Of water crash into his apartment building. The tsunami cut the building into 2 pieces, pulling the 2nd story of the building
Okay.
when a tsunami alarm went off. People didn't do anything because 2 days earlier, another alarm went off after an earthquake had turned up waves only 60 centimeters high. This time, however, the alarm gave warning of 3-meter waves. This didn't scare Hiro.
He stayed.
It had a wall along the coast, much higher than 3 meters.
Okay, so Guillermo is correct. The alarm went off 2 days ago. I mean, they had an alarm 2 days before they received this other alarm. But the other alarm they received was much higher than this one. So that's why they were not scared, because there were 3 meters waves, which is they were not considered that higher. That high. Okay. Where was Hiro when he saw the helicopter? Where?
In the roof, on the
Uh-huh.
roof of the building. I
He
think.
was on the roof of the building. Very good. In addition to the objects hitting him in the water, why was it difficult for Hiro to swim in the ocean?
I had a broken leg.
Because he had a broken leg. Very good.
He has a broken leg. He had a broken leg.
Okay, where did his wife Nobuko find him?
I think the mountain. I
No.
don't think.
A broken leg.
In the ocean.
No, in the mountain. How do you say colina?
Mountains range.
Mountains, I think.
You
I didn't
think?
understand that part. I didn't.
Okay, Jose, do you have that part?
No, I have in blank this part.
Okay, let's go and listen to get that information.
The strength of the water hitting the floor broke Hiro's leg. Water began to quickly enter through the floor of Hiro's apartment. Luckily, he was able to climb to the roof. While the building was moving with the waves, Hiro noticed a helicopter flying above. He waved to the helicopter, and it soon flew down close to him. But when it flew close to him, Hiro realized the helicopter couldn't help him. It was a television helicopter. It soon flew away. About 30 minutes of moving with the waves, seeing cars, furniture, and burning homes pass him by, he knew that he was moving towards the ocean and away from land. If he stayed with the home, he would enter the ocean and probably die. It was his last chance. He jumped into the dirty, ice-cold water and tried to swim to land. It was nearly impossible because of his broken leg. Also, while he was swimming, his hands hit objects like wood, furniture, cars, and other things that the water had taken with it. Hito finally swam to land and went to the top of a hill in his town. He saw that many people had gone there when they heard the tsunami alarm. After a few hours, from a window on the ground floor, he saw his wife Nobuko, who was searching for him. He shouted. She saw him and rushed in. Hiro and Nobuko are now rebuilding their lives as
In a coast, I think. Let me check. I think it was in the coast. Wait.
Because
Let me see letter F. No, it was at the top of a hill. Yeah, it was Guillermo was close at the top of a hill. Where is it? Here. At the top of a hill.
can I,
And the last one says, how many people died in Japan's great earthquake of tsunami of 2011?
50,000.
15,000, very good.
50,000.
15,000. Not big amount, right? Okay,
15? 15 or 50?
15.
15.
15,000. Okay, now we're gonna go to the second part. In the second part, we're gonna have like the script of the listening, but this time we are going to complete the full paragraph, the full article with the missing verbs. Okay, so please listen to it again and complete this article with the options. You have options here, so you just have to listen and choose. Listen and choose. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes, I haven't
you
shared it.
can- yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now it's been shared. Thank you, Guillermo. Okay, remember, listen to it again and choose one of the options that is given here for you. Tell me when you finish.
What exercise is?
It's in the same one, but part 2.
Hiro story number 2.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Can I open?
Yes, you're allowed now to.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thanks.
Ready?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Alondra, Guillermo, did you finish?
Finally.
Yes.
I think yes.
Okay, let's go then. So let's
Is
go
it-
to the first part, and I want you, well, I'll read the very first part of it, and then you're gonna help me read the paragraphs, okay? So it says, on March 11th, 2011 at 2:46 p.m., near the northeastern coast of the country, Japan experienced an undersea earthquake measuring 9 on the Richter scale. Alondra, can you read the first paragraph with your answers, please?
Yes. Shortly after, Hiromaru Sasaki was looking at the damage in his fishing shop in Rukesentakata when a tsunami alarm went off. People didn't do anything because 2 days earlier, another alarm went off after an earthquake had turned up waves only 60 centimeters high.
Very good. Guys, do you agree with the answers of Alondra? Do you have the same?
Yes, I have.
Very good. Okay, Guillermo, can you read the next paragraph, please, with your answer?
Okay. This time, however, the alarm gave warning of 3-meter wave. This didn't scare Hiro as he town had a wall along the coast much higher than 3 meters.
Okay. Do you guys agree?
Yes, I agree
Yes.
with
Okay.
Guillermo.
The next paragraph. Okay, Jose, you have 4 answers. Can you read the next paragraph, please?
He decided to go home to his wife. When he arrived, his wife was gone. She had left the apartment. Suddenly, he heard a woman scream from outside and saw a wall of water crash into his apartment building. The tsunami cut the building into pieces, pulling the second story of the building and hit his home into the water. The whole second floor of the apartment began moving away in the water. Below him, the waves were destroying the floor. The strength of the water hitting the floor broke Hiro's leg.
Very good. Do you guys agree with Jose's answers?
Yes, I am.
Yes? Okay. Next paragraph. Guillermo, your turn again, please.
The water began to quickly enter through the floor of his apartment. Luckily, he was able to climb to the roof while the building was moving with the waves. Hiro noticed
Notice?
noticed a helicopter flying above. He waved to the helicopter and its sound flew down close to him. But when I flew closer to him, Hiro raised the helicopter could not help him. It was a television helicopter. Its sound flew away.
Thank you. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Very good.
I have a question in this part, teacher.
Tell me.
What mean the verb wave? He
Wave,
waved to
it
the helicopter. Wave is
In this
it's hola,
one-
no? It's hola.
it's but he waved to the helicopter is doing this. Do you see me?
Ya.
That
Como
is wave.
como saludar, wave.
With the hand.
Okay, to do waves with the hands.
Yeah. Y también aplica, it also works for the flags, Like wave your flag.
Wave your flag on the air, yeah, on the bandera, wave flags. Okay,
Yes.
wait the flag. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alondra, can you read the next paragraph, please?
Yes. After about 30 minutes of moving with the waves, seeing cars, furniture, and burning homes pass him by, he knew that he was moving towards the ocean and away from land. If he stayed with the home, he would enter the ocean and probably die. It was his last chance.
Very good. Okay, Jose, can you read the next one, please?
He jumped into the dirty, ice-cold water and tried to swim to land. It was nearly impossible because of his broken leg. Also, while he was swimming, his hand had hit objects like wood, furniture, cars, and other things that the water had taken with it.
Okay, do you guys agree with this, with Jose's answer? Wait.
I put hit.
Yes, it's hit. Well, we have past continuous here, so the following has to be past simple. Okay.
It's past simple, no it's past perfect. It's
No.
not past perfect.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Guillermo, again, please, hero.
Hero finally swam to land, and I was going to the top of the hill in his town. He saw that many people had gone there when they heard the tsunami alarm after a few hours from a window on the ground floor. He saw his wife Nobuko, who was searching for him. He shouted, he saw him and rushed in.
Rush in. Okay, so we don't have more options to choose, but Alondra, can you finish the reading, please?
Yes. Hiro and Nobuko are now rebuilding their lives, and their home and town were both destroyed. It is hard to imagine that they were the lucky ones because the earthquake and tsunami of 2011 caused more than 15,000 deaths. The cost of the damage was 230 billion, making this the most expensive natural disaster in history.
Thank you so much.
Teacher,
Okay. Yes.
in the last part, in this exercise, I put went. Is not correct?
Let me see. Oh, I didn't ask, that's true. Alondra, Jose, well, Jose says that do you have the same as Guillermo or do you have different?
I both went to.
Okay, here finally swam to land and went to the top. Yes, you were right, guys. Very good. Thank you. Sorry for me not to ask you, but I just forgot. And yes, both of them are in past tense. Separated events concluded. Okay, very good. Thank you. Well, now we have finished with the past simple, past continuous, and past perfect. And we are going to go to another topic, which is called the past passive. Okay, let's look. What is the past passive?
Passive. What is this?
A new topic. It says,
okay.
When we went to the park, lots of beautiful kites were being flown in the wind. Okay, past simple passive. Let's first of all talk about the structure. What do I need? I need the past tense of the verb to be, which is was or were, depending on the subject, and the past participle form. The past participle, as in the past perfect, I need to use the past participle form of the verb. For example, the damage was caused by a fire. My phone was stolen. The town was flooded. The soccer game was played in the evening. Okay, before I continue, if I'm not wrong, I have worked with you with the present passive. But well, if I haven't, let me give you a short introduction. The past passive shows the event, like the consequence or like the main event, but it doesn't tell you exactly who gave it or who did it. It just shows you the action. For example, the damage was caused. So first of all, I need to place the object of the sentence, then the verb to be in past tense, because we are referring to situations or events, obviously in the past, right? That's why I'm using the verb to be in the past tense, was or were. So for example here, my phone was stolen. I don't know who stole my phone. I'm just focusing on the action. My phone was stolen. So I'm going to start it like that. I'm going to start with the object, follow by the verb to be according to the object. In this case, it's a thing. So just one thing. That's why I'm using was. And stolen because it's the past participle of it. Okay, again, past continuous passive. I need was, were, as being in the past participle. Okay, here I have two different ones. I have the past passive to talk about things that happened in the past, just like that, happened in the past, and the person or the subject of this sentence is not relevant because I probably don't know who did the action, and I don't have that much information. So I just care about what happened, not who didn't, not
Like
who caused
passive
it.
voice.
Exactly, it's passive voice in past tense, right? Now, past continuous passive is a little different. In the past continuous passive, well, it's the same, but I mean the structure is a little different because plus the was and where, I need being in the past participle. For example, I didn't know that my photo was being taken. We could hear that a party was being held. In Spanish, this will be estaba siendo tomada, estaba siendo, se estaba llevando a cabo, por ejemplo. When I went to the bakery, I saw that a birthday cake was being made. What does this mean? That it was in process. But if you notice in here, who was making the cake, and that is not relevant. I'm just saying that at the moment in the past, when I went to the bakery, a cake was being made. What does it mean? That was in process. While this video was being recorded, the earthquake started. This is like the past continuous, but in the passive voice. Okay, past perfect passive. They were gonna have also the past perfect, but in this case, passive. What do I need? I need to use had plus been in the past participle. The house had just been built when it was destroyed by the hurricane. Had just been built. What does it mean? That somebody, I'll take you to that moment. Somebody's building, I mean, somebody is, building the house, and then the hurricane passes. Now, that is the situation, but I'm talking or explaining about it in the present, but obviously this event happened in the past. What do I need to use? I need to use the past perfect passive, okay? So the house had just been built when it was destroyed by the hurricane. The woman had just been rescued from a fire when she arrived to the hospital, sorry. When I got to work, the lights had already been turned on. The phone had already been scratched when I bought it. Okay, it's a little complicated, or probably it sounds complicated, but it's not that hard, to be honest, as soon as we practice and remember the structure. Passive use. Let's talk about the use. In grammar, the person or thing that does the action is called the agent of the verb or the subject. For example, the man played the guitar. Verb played, agent the man. Birds were flying in the sky. Verb were flying, agent birds. Those shoes cost a lot of money. Verb cost, agent those shoes. Okay, so if you see, this is an active sentence. In active sentences, take the subject or the agent at the beginning of the sentence because it's the person who is doing the action. Everything is clear till here, right? Yes? Okay, continuing, it says, in grammar, we put the agent in the position of the subject of the sentence. This is called the active voice. But in the passive voice, it's used when changing the focus of the sentence from the agent to the object. To do this, we put the object in the position of the subject in the sentence. I'll explain you a little bit of this in Spanish. Cuando tengo una oración normal, la oración es una oración activa. O sea, con normal me refiero a que primero voy a tener al sujeto, que es quien está haciendo la acción. Cuando yo me enfoco en un passive voice, sea el tiempo que sea, yo estoy enfocándome en lo que pasó, no en quién hizo la acción, right? Okay, for example, active, so that's why, for example, this is a normal sentence, an active sentence. A substitute teacher is teaching my students. What is the object in the sentence? My students. What is the verb? Is teaching. And what is the subject? A substitute teacher. Now, what do I have to notice first in this sentence in order to make it a passive voice sentence? I need to identify the verb tense. The verb tense in this one is present continuous. That means that I'm going to change it into past continuous passive. So it means that I'm going to need the verb to be in past tense. In this case, it's in present because the sentence is in present. For example, if in here was teaching my students, then I could use also was. But since here is in present, I'll keep it in present. So my students are being, because the being is the one that tells me that it was a continuous sentence. My students are being taught because I'm always going to use the past participle in every passive sentence. My students are being taught by a substitute teacher. This by is like to put in a second place the subject, but you can use it or not. You can also ignore it. Or if you don't know who was teaching your students, so then you just can like ignore it, right? Okay, we use the passive when the agent is unknown, not important. When the agent is unknown, not important, clear, or people in general. With people in general, I mean like nobody in specific, right? Often the agent is not stated. For example, my lunch was stolen every day. What does it mean? That I don't know who stole the lunch. That's why I prefer to use a passive voice sentence. The road was being repaired. Who was repairing or the road? Unimportant agent. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know them, just people. The thief was arrested. Clear agent, the police. But since again, it's something in general, I mean, it's nothing in specific. That's why we prefer to, actually, when we are seeing newspapers of that, it's very common to use the passive voice. Paint can be bought at the hardware store. Agent, all the people in general. I mean, not just one person in a specific. Okay, so in few words, we are going to use the passive voice when we care more about the action than who made it, okay? Or when this is referred to people in general, not to somebody in a specific. Okay, and what is it going to change or vary? The tense. Primero hay que identificar. Nos quedan 2 minutos. Vamos a hacer rapidito nada más un ejemplo. For example, I'm gonna write here 3 sentences. I made a cake. No, because this is, yes, I made a cake. Never mind, I made a cake. I was doing, no, I was in exercise, but let me find one easier. I was doing homework. Okay, I was doing homework in the morning. Another one, it was perfect. I had finished my exam. Okay, 3 sentences. Let's change them passive voice. Vamos a cambiarles a passive voice just to see if you're getting me, okay? Para ver si me están entendiendo. I made a cake. Let's identify first the object. What is the object in this sentence? I made a cake.
The cake.
Cake.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to start with the cake.
Cake.
Now, this sentence is in past tense, which means that I am going to use the verb to be in past tense, right? But you tell me, what am I gonna use? Was or were? Was, because it's just one cake, it's one thing. So the cake was, and I'm gonna keep the same verb in past tense because it's past tense,
Made.
with the same form. That cake was made by me. And I'm
By
going
my-
to use the object pronoun. This last part could be skipped. Esta última parte pudo haber sido omitida, but I just wanted to keep it, okay? So, by me could be ignored. Next, I was doing homework in the morning. Okay, what is the object? What was I doing?
The homework.
Home. Okay, homework. Now, this sentence is in past continuous. So it means that I'm going to use the verb to be in past tense, which is was. I already have it there. Now,
Being,
what?
being,
Being,
Will be
being, do,
being what?
being done.
Being done, very good, in the morning.
Homework being done.
What does it mean? That this action was in process. And the part of by me, as I said before, could be ignored. It's not that relevant. Okay, next option. Next sentence. I had finished my exam. What is the object in this sentence?
Exam.
Exam.
The exam, right? The exam or my exam? My exam. What?
Has
Had
finished.
Had, has been finished.
had been finished. And that's it. That is the only thing that is relevant. Do you get how it changes? Si se fijan en cómo cambia the active and passive.
Yes.
Entonces,
yes,
en passive voice importa lo que pasa, no quién lo hace. Y en active importa un poquito más quién es. O sea, no es tanto que importe, sino que nos enfocamos mucho en quién hace las acciones. ¿Ok? Vamos a continuar con este tema en la próxima clase. Nada más se los dejé así como un preview para prepararnos para la siguiente semana. ¿Ok? Thank you. Have a good night, guys. See you next week.
you too.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.